The warm-up games on 19 August are going to be some very entertaining ones, but for very different reasons. There are 5 games to look forward to. First one being Wales versus the Springboks. The second one will be the US versus Georgia. Third one is going to be Ireland versus England. And then we're going to see Italy versus Romania. And the last one, France versus Fiji. So first up is Wales versus the Springboks. To say Wales have been bad the past 2 weeks would be a compliment. To make things worse, they've also had to struggle now with the withdrawal of Dan Biggar and Liam Williams for this match, which takes even more sting out of their backline. The Springboks, on the other hand, have Siya Kolisi returning for his first run out of the season. I feel the Springbok team that's being fielded is about 80 to 90% of the full strength side, so it's going to be interesting to see how they perform on the day. I do expect a very dominant performance from the Springboks, and they're going to be bullying Wales all the way. So 30 points or more is not out of the question. The Georgia versus USA game is going to be an interesting one. Georgia should cruise past the US. The US are going to be out to prove a point, to show that they are supposed to be at this World Cup after they were dumped out of it by Chile in the qualifiers. They won't have enough, though, to compete with the power of Georgia, especially with their forwards. I fully expect Georgia to comfortably cruise to a 20-point win, which will set them up nicely going into the World Cup to compete for a not so unlikely chance of getting out of their group. Traditionally, the Ireland versus England games are hard-fought games and hotly contested. Things are a little different here, though. It's Ireland playing in Ireland and an England team that is absolutely horrendous at the moment. At times, it will probably look like England will be in this game, but they won't be. They will probably end up losing by at least 20 points, and that is if they're lucky. The Italy versus Romania game is going to be a very weird one. This is going to be probably Romania's version of a mini World Cup for them. I fully expect Italy actually to take it up a step, because Italy have the very impossible task of causing an upset in Pool A, either against France or New Zealand. And I don't think it's going to be against New Zealand. Small possibility against France, but I also don't think that's going to happen. But they are probably going to have a massive step up in this game. Romania, on the other hand, will be in the pool of death with South Africa and Tonga and Ireland and Scotland. So the likelihood of them winning one game in that group is almost zero. I do think we're going to see a good fight from Romania, but I think at the end of it, Italy is just going to have too much for them. And they're probably going to move past them and win by about 10 points, even though it might not be the most clinical performance. The highlight for the weekend, though, is going to be the France versus Fiji game. This is going to be the most entertaining game by far, I believe. If you are looking for excitement, they aren't two better teams, in my opinion, that you want to see on the field. And the way that they play, it almost looks reckless, but it's so entertaining to actually watch. Fiji have had a couple of good warm-up games prior to this matchup, and so has France. So both teams are looking pretty good. France will, however, be the dominant one, and even though there will be some spectacular rugby from Fiji, I think they will start to fade away in the last 15-20 minutes. When the final whistle blows, France would have won by around 20 points, but I think that would flatter them